The first skill I'm going to teach is punting. Hand placement is key for executing the proper punt. You want to make sure your thumb is on top of the ball and the other four fingers are off to the side. For a punt, you want to hold the ball level and out in front of you, around waist high. You want to step forward first with your dominant foot. This does not have to be a huge stride though. You want to then step with your opposite foot in the same direction as your first. You want to sync your drop in accordance with the landing of the second foot for the best timing. And finally, try to kick the ball with the laces on your shoes. Here's a side view. A good activity you can do to get acquainted with the motion of a punt is a simple ball to foot drill. Notice how the laces of the football are pointed upward. You do not want the ball any other way because making contact with the laces can send the ball flying in an undesired direction. When you contact the ball, you want to hit it squarely with the laces of your shoes. This provides the best accuracy and power to go along with your kick. You can practice this motion by yourself. Just like anything else, practice with this will help you when you need to make contact in the execution of the actual punt. Keep in mind the 90-degree finishing point of your legs. Footwork is extremely important for a proper punt. It generally consists of 2 steps in the kick. The first step you want to take is with your dominant foot. Keep the length of your stride natural. Now you want to step forward with your non-dominant foot, taking the same length stride as you did for your first step. It's at this step you want to sync the football drop, but we're not ready for that yet. A good punting alternative is simply holding the ball horizontally. This makes it significantly easier to make contact with. However, there are several attributable downfalls to this method. For one, it is not as accurate as the vertical punt because direction of the ball is unpredictable off the foot. You are kicking a smaller portion of the football, so less power is generated in the kick as well. Lastly, the flight of the football is less aerodynamic. This means that the ball cannot as easily slice the air as it can with the tip of the ball that leads with the vertical punt. This is how a punt is properly executed. Notice how my legs end up in a right angle from each other. This means that I kept integrity with my back plant foot while following all the way through with my kicking foot. With my first step, I'm taking a natural stride forward with my dominant foot. With the ball out in front of me, I make sure my eyes are fixated on it at all times. Notice how I'm already preparing for my next step. With my second step, I'm stepping with my opposite foot and I'm preparing to sync this step with the dropping of the football. The football should not be tossed, just dropped. Last, I'm planting my back dominant foot so it's ready to swing forward for the punt. To review, you want the ball out in front of you as you start the kick. The first step you take is with your dominant foot. Remember, this does not need to be an extraordinary stride. Keep it how you would naturally walk. Next, you take another step forward with your opposing foot, and it's at this step that you want to sync the drop of the ball with. Finally, kick the ball squarely with your shoelaces. Now I'm going to teach you how to properly catch a football. The steps involved in this process are rather simple. You want to put your hands together in a diamond formation, but make sure they are not touching or too far apart. It is important to know that you want to use your hands for catching a football. A common misconception is that you want to coax the ball into your body and cradle it from there. This is incorrect. After the ball is in your hands, you are looking to secure it to ensure that it hasn't dropped. In football, you are usually going to be catching on the run. With this, it is important to have your hands lined up and ready to catch an incoming pass. It can be easy to jam some fingers in the process, so it's important to be cognizant of where your fingers are to prevent this. Notice how my hands are in a position to catch the football on the run. They are in a diamond formation to give me the best chance to secure the pass. I make sure to follow the flight of the ball all the way into my hands, not my body. This was not the best thrown ball, and sometimes in football, you need to adjust your body to make the catch. This is also done with your hands. To review, you want your hands in a diamond-like formation to catch the ball. You want to avoid catching the ball against your chest or any other part of your body other than your hands. And lastly, after you've successfully made the catch, you should secure the ball to make sure that it remains in your possession. For throwing, the steps are to keep your shoulders square with your left shoulder facing your target for righties and your right shoulder facing the target for lefties. When you throw, you want to step forward with your opposite foot in the direction of the target, transfer weight, and make sure to have a good follow through both with your body and throwing arm. Footwork is important to a throw because it is how you ready yourself and provide power behind the toss. In this slowed down clip, you can see how I have my knees slightly bent and the weight concentrated on my back foot. Notice how I've started to point my front foot in the direction of my target. Next is the weight transfer, and this is how you use the motion of your body to aid in the ball's velocity. You are looking to transfer weight from your back foot to your front foot and rotate your trunk for added power. Try to keep your elbow up. Dipping it below your shoulders can lead to bad results. Now watch my back leg. You want to keep foot integrity and balance throughout. This will allow you to properly power through the throw to make it accurate with maximum velocity. Finally, you want to follow through to complete the throwing motion. And although it may take some practice, you want to dig in the ground with your back foot or squish the bug after you release the ball. This will keep you from falling over. Continuing with the footwork theme, the gather throw uses all the same tactics as your standard throw, but generates even more power. This is because you are utilizing your body's momentum. The downfall, it has potential to be less accurate. Here it is in slow motion. Notice the extra step I take before the throw, and how it allows me to gather myself with my momentum already moving forward. All the same steps as the standard throw are still used. Hand positioning on the football is really all personal preference, whatever feels good to you. However, I like to grip the ball every other lace notch, with my thumb and index finger off to the side on the tip of the ball. This is what feels comfortable for me, but it could be different for anyone. I have the ball gripped this way because it provides the best spiral. It is important the ball grazes off your fingertips and spins through the air in a spiral. This relates back to the aerodynamic aspect of the football, as the tip is able to break through the air and keep the ball going. It is important not to short arm a football because this cuts the throw's potential by one half. Your arm is about halfway back as it could go and makes for a less accurate throw, which generates about half the velocity. To review a proper throw, you want to keep your shoulder square with your opposite shoulder facing the target. Step forward with your opposite foot and be ready to transfer your weight from your back plant foot onto this forward moving foot. Last, a good follow through will prevent you from an incomplete throwing motion and will lead to the best results.